Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. Stop Galamsey now. It's 65 days to the 2025-2024 presidential and parliamentary elections. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. Tonight, government engages in a series of pivotal meetings, including cabinet deliberations to avert a total shutdown of the country. On the 10th of October, as organized labor refuses to back down on its demand for a total cessation of illegal mining activities in Ghana.
There's no way we can do all of these things in 3 weeks, as they are now intending to call for a nationwide strike over the next 8 days. But I'm very certain that in tomorrow's cabinet meeting, this will be one of the major things that cabinet will discuss. Organized labor will hear from government.
We have updates from a meeting between the president and leadership of organized labor. Meanwhile, the National Labour Commission is set to summon organized labor over intended strike, as it says only ClockSAG has served official notice to the commission.
Yes, we'll be inviting them. But I'm aware that a lot of meetings are going on behind the scenes with them. Well, I'm not surprised. Okay, when it's getting to elections, especially when the term of the government is coming to an end.
And there's a warning to government against attempting to weaken the front of organized labor, warning that such an effort will not achieve the desired outcome.
Nothing can save the government other than taking immediate step to respond positively to labor. This divide and rule tactics is an old Russian idea. It won't work today, it won't work tomorrow.
Plus, a planned massive prayer protest starting on the 11th of October by the Accra Archdiocese of the Catholic Church and the Conference of Major Superiors of Religions. You want to stay for details of that.
Also tonight, VRA senior staff refuses to end protest against proposed merger of VRA and Buipa, despite assurances from Minister of State at the Energy Ministry. The government will no longer go ahead with the plan.
The minister gave us his word that he has already asked Parliament to stay the bill, and that the bill is not going to continue.
We have the latest from a meeting between the staff and the Energy Ministry.
And Ghana Health Service on high alert as a first measure of containment following the confirmation of an Mpox case amid 230 suspected cases nationwide.
We have actually activated our updated response plan. So we are going to send alert to all our regions once again to make sure that we look for the cases.
In business, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam announced significant savings for the economy after the Eurobond debt exchange program secured almost 100% participation.
And as well as we hear from the president of the Ghana Football Association, Kete Kreko, who is making a strong case for lifting the ban on alcohol-producing companies sponsoring football clubs, insisting that the regulation is depriving the association of much-needed revenue.
That and more in tonight's edition of Newsnight. You want to join us with your thoughts, your comments, wherever you're listening to us from. In all 16 regions, via WhatsApp is 055-11-11997. We're live on X Spaces. We're on Facebook Live, on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi and myjoyonline.com. I am MFA Apau.
My name is Evans Mensah. Let's start with hashtag Stop Galamsey now. And tonight, government is engaging in a series of pivotal meetings, including cabinet deliberations to avert a total shutdown of the country on the 10th of October, as organized labor refuses to back down on its demand for a total cessation of illegal mining activities in Ghana.
Well, there's pressure on government to, among others, declare a state of emergency around river and water bodies, ban small-scale mining, and review the passage of a legislative instrument that grants licenses for mining in forest reserves, failure upon which organized labor will go on that nationwide strike that has been declared starting on the 10th of October. Well, the president, we're told, is holding a cabinet meeting today to discuss the demands of labor. But we know also that, Evans, there was a meeting between some members of organized labor, which was facilitated by the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations Minister, Ignatius Bafuewa. Well, government spokesperson on governance, Paul Graves Boachi Dankwa, hinted on the award-winning PM Express last night about government's intentions.
Asked for three things. The first was to call for a state of emergency. The second was to call for a revocation of the LI. And then the third was to call for the establishment of special courts. And I'm stating that there's no way we can do all of these things in 3 weeks, as they are now intending to call for a nationwide strike over the next 8 days. But I'm very certain that in tomorrow's cabinet meeting, this will be one of the major things that cabinet will discuss. I'm very certain that, I hope and pray actually, that organized labor will hear from government, such that there will not be a need for that nationwide strike to happen on the 10th of October. But I will ask for everyone to exercise some restraint, because it's the desire of government to resolve these issues and meet with every other stakeholder that is important in the value chain of this process.
That's Paul Graves Boachi Dankwa speaking on PM Express last night. Let's bring in the technical advisor at the Ministry of Labour and Employment Relations, Bright Rekubobe. We are grateful for your time here on Newsnight. First, we are told about a meeting that happened today between the President and some members of Labour. First, I would want to know the criteria for selection of participants for this meeting with the President and who actually participated, sir.
Well, let me good evening and good evening to your cherished listeners. Today's meeting was at the instance of the President through the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations. He had to act swiftly, and as a very responsive President to Labour matters and the Labour community, he had to summon this meeting based on the press release that they issued and the fact that he had earlier on set a committee to look at this and engage all stakeholders and to look at amicable solutions to this. I must put on record that the press release initially gave a scenario to the fact that government had not reached out to them. They hadn't responded to them. I must say that it is trite knowledge. Everybody knows that in the last couple of weeks, we had UN General Assembly that took almost the leadership of the country away. And it was very difficult for us to engage. But following the release that they made, the President got it, and through the minister, a meeting was organized this morning. And so the leadership of organized labor were called to the presidency this morning.
So that's where I have a concern. Leadership of organized labor. That's why I'm asking who participated in this meeting with the President.
Wonderful. If we say organized labor, it comprises of 3 labor platforms in Ghana that we have. One is the leadership of the forum made up of the public sector workers, i.e., we have the Ghana Medical Association, the NAT, the GRMNA, and all those groups. Those that are, on the controller payroll, largely. The Clocksack Civil Service, they constitute the forum. Then we have the TUC that also has members. Then we have the Federation of Labour. So if you are meeting, the first time we met, we had over 50 participants from these groups. This time round, it was a restricted meeting with the leadership. So I am told, I was not in the meeting, I must put that on record. My minister attended with them, and those that attended were about 10 or 12 or so in number.
And they were all drawn from this forum that you talk about, TUC and Federation of Labour.
Represented from these 3 labor platforms.
Okay, well, that's an issue that we'll get into shortly. But what essentially was this meeting for? To convince Labour not to shut down the country from the 10th of October? Or what exactly were you seeking? What exactly was the President looking for from Labour? Because he had 1 month to engage. That did not happen.
No, you know, as a President, his primary preoccupation will be to ensure that we have peace, especially run up to these elections. Labour wakes up on a matter that is so crucial to the entire nation. He doesn't take that for granted. So he would want to listen to them. He has a committee that is running. The committee has deadlines he will meet. But then he comes and meets a press release and he summons them, urgently. So this must tell you the urgency and the priority that the President himself has for these labor matters and the Galamsey issues. That is why he engaged them, not necessarily, to back them out of what they are doing, but to find a lasting solution, to the issues they've raised and how we can all navigate and find lasting solutions to this matter.
Well, the only urgent thing, at least for Labour, from what we've heard them say, is that there should be a declaration of a state of emergency. There are 3 key things they ask that the President does. What else will be urgent than this meeting? Why has he not declared that? What did he tell them in that meeting? When exactly will that happen?
When we speak like this on air, let's try and educate Ghanaians. When we are talking of matters of national emergency and all that, they are not simplistic issues. This is not a matter that, in my opinion, the President is taking for granted. I mean, what matter of emergency is it that he will ensure that he meets Labour within 24 hours that he had information when he came back from his travel? So I beg. I mean, the media, myself, yourself, everybody, we must be concerned and we must appreciate the extent to which President is going about this matter. And through his ministers, we are engaging.
Yeah, I understand, Mr. Rekubrobe, but for you to say they are not simplistic matters, organized labor are not children. They know definitely that these are not simplistic matters. Yet, they ask that it should be done. I'm asking what exactly the president told them when he met them. Will that be done or not? Well,
I mean, the president has engaged them. As to the content of that, the leadership are going to meet their general body tomorrow. And I'm sure after that, they would chart a way forward.
So what was the conclusion of this meeting?
The conclusion of this meeting, I was not there.
Okay.
But discussing with my minister, it was a very constructive meeting, and organized labor will meet the entire body and then put out whatever they want to tell the general public.
From the briefing you have, Mr. Rekubrobe, from the briefing you have, what was so constructive about this meeting? What exactly is Labour going to communicate to their members?
Well, that's a matter between Labour and their members. But I must tell you that for President to summon a meeting from yesterday night to this morning, a meeting well attended by the leadership of organized labor, why don't we wait a little bit for the outcome? After all, you have been given a moratorium of a deadline of 8th October. And between now and 8th, the President and his team of ministers and all the appointees are making sure that we resolve this matter before the 8th, so we don't get a demonstration or a shutdown.
Don't forget, I'll come back to the membership of this particular meeting, but how do you respond to concerns about the fact that there could be a deliberate attempt on the part of government to divide the front of Labour on this issue?
That is palpable false. I mean, government is not interested in that. There's a matter that concerns everybody. And everybody is worried. The water bodies. You and I, your parents will go and buy water. Myself, I will do. So it is not a matter of dividing anybody's front. It's a matter of finding amicable solutions. And remember, one of the demands of Labour was that we even get all political parties to sign onto a document. And I don't think President will shy away from that. Let's just listen to what tomorrow organized Labour received today from the presidency, what they will discuss with their leadership, and they communicate the issue that will chart a way forward to end this canker.
Can you at least give me 3 members, 3 names as to who attended this meeting? At least 3.
Well, the Secretary General. The Secretary General was in attendance. Some members of the forum.
Secretary General of which one? The TUC, you mean?
The TUC.
Okay.
At least that 2 membership. I know that the Secretary General and the Deputy Secretary General were there, and in the forum they had 2 members from there. What I don't know is membership of the GFL, but I am sure they were also represented.
Federation of Labour was represented.
At least you asked for 3, I've been able to give you 4.
I agree, thank you. But Federation of Labour, were they there?
Federation of Labour, I mean, that I was not in the meeting. Even though my minister facilitated, I saw they were supposed to attend.
Okay.
As I speak with you, it's a confidential matter between Labour and the presidency. But tomorrow, God willing, the leadership of organized Labour will meet their membership and the outcomes will be made known to public.
You know why? We are surprised because Labour mentioned that there will be no deliberations whatsoever until the 10th of October because they say they gave government a grace period of 1 month, and that upon the expiration of that, that's why they declared this. So we are surprised that there's some deliberation of a sort, for which reason you say it was so constructive that they are going to communicate to their members. What would they communicate? There will be no strike from the 10th?
MFA, you see, when you close your eyes to the things we do on the labor front, you may be mistaken. It's more about human engagement. You say you will not today. Some members will come appealing to you, requesting that we meet. And then the meetings will come on.
Or so is it rather...
It's not cast in stone. I mean, Labour wants a problem to be solved, remember. They want a problem to be solved. Any problem to be solved, and they try to engage you and you say you will not come, Would that be proper?
Well, this problem is not a problem of their salaries or anything of the sort. It's a problem of national issue, national proportion. Galamsey, illegal mining, they want a stop to it. So how did we convince them that they will stop?
It's about national interest. And in fact, I will be very surprised if Labour says that we have issued this release, and therefore any call to us we will not attend.
Okay.
Then why did you issue the release?
So before I let you off, Mr. Rekubrobe, you were not in the meeting, but I don't know if you're able to tell me, what would you say to those who would say that maybe there was some greasing of palm after that meeting?
There was some what?
Greasing of palm.
Oh, no. I, in fact, to the best of my knowledge, I have engaged Labour in the last 7.5 years. And I tell you, they are most reasonable people that you can deal with. In the whole workforce, human resource is what you should, value. And the kinds of constructive ideas that they put on the table, you can never, so trust me, I'm telling you that if they said that they will not even oblige to any call, because they are looking for national interest, it behoves on leadership to attend. I mean, just go to the presidency as is invited, listen to what he says, and come and brief your members.
Well, we'll wait for that briefing. We are grateful, Mr. Bright Rekubrobe. He's a technical advisor at the Ministry of...
Let me use the opportunity, Amifa, to also thank this weekend I buried my mom, and lots of well wishes. I'm grateful.
Our condolences, sir. We are grateful. That's Bright Rekubrobe, technical advisor at the Ministry of Labour and Employment.
Well, he talks about the leadership of organized labor. Angel Kabonu is one of them. He's the president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers. He joins us on the line right now. Angel, thanks for your time here on Newsnight. Were you aware of this meeting this morning?
No.
Oh, pardon me for that interaction there. Were you aware of the meeting this morning?
No.
You're hearing the technical advisor at the Employment Ministry say it happened. Your reaction to that?
Well, I did not know about this morning any meeting today, and I'm yet to find out from the leadership of the three platforms whether there was a meeting and whether they attended. I am not aware. I am hearing for the first time that there was any meeting of any sort.
Is that standard practice in organized labor that meetings such as this, such a critical meeting will happen without you knowing, President of NAGRAT?
Absolutely not.
So surprised then that this happened?
I don't think I'm hearing right. I have to find out what
you mean you
development
don't you mean you don't believe your own ears? You're hearing the technical advisor say it happened?
Yes, when the president summons any person, it will be a very challenging task for the person to say, I will not attend. But we have a standard practice where if any such meeting is going to occur, we will be informed on our platform. And when I checked my platform the whole of today, I'm not aware that there was any such meeting. And as I speak to you, I don't even have any briefing, if even the meeting took place and the right leadership were there.
Considering what the technical advisor says, that this happened in the morning, you expecting that at least you would have received a briefing, even if at the initial stages of the invitation you were not aware by this time?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even if there were a meeting, we will also have to find out who were there.
Well, the Secretary General of the TUC was there, according to Bright Rekubrobe.
We have to find out.
Well, stay with me because Kenneth Kumsing is a Deputy Secretary General of the Federation of Labour. We just heard the technical advisor say, MFA, that the Ghana Federation of Labour, he believes, were also represented today. I want to bring him in. Kenneth Kumsing, were you represented at this meeting with the President today on the Galamsey War?
Yeah, good evening, Evans, and good evening to your listeners. Yes, organized labour was represented, and the Federation of Labour, being one of the constituents who were rightly represented.
That's surprising, really. But since you were there, I'm happy to hear that you were there. But Angel Kabonu says he was not there. How many of you attended this meeting? Who and who actually were in this meeting, sir?
So I'm not too sure about what is surprising, because we had an invitation.
I'll tell you what is surprising since you asked, because from what I know, what Labour mentioned publicly was that upon the expiration of that 1 month grace period that you gave government, you have declared an action, and prior to that action, there will be no deliberation whatsoever. Correct?
Okay, so thank you very much for the question. Organized Labour on the 11th of September issued a statement and made categorical demands from government. Government extended an invitation on the 13th, 2 days after the issuance of that letter, and we met on the 17th. On the 17th, we reaffirmed our position to government and even added EI 234 and the need for the political party to sign a pact. Today, we've had a meeting, which is a follow-up to the meeting on the 17th of September. Even though the meeting was an emergency of a nature because the invitation came late yesterday, when we met organized labor, it was clear in the meeting that even though we have issued and given notice of our intention to embark on a nationwide strike, we are open to engage. That was made clear in organized labor's meeting.
Okay, so right here also on this channel where you are speaking now, we also spoke to Mr. Abraham Kumsin and yourself. Evans Mensah engaged both of you. First, it was a meeting with at least the committee that was put together, led by Kandapa. You said you were not open to any engagement. Then after the declaration of the action also, you mentioned that you were not open to any engagement because that grace period had expired. What changed?
So what I'm saying is that in the organized labor meeting that we held following the expiration of the 1 week notice that was given by government on the 17th of September, which is expired on the 24th, the meeting agreed, and here I want to make it clear, the organized labor meeting agreed that even though we've given notice to embark on a nationwide strike on the 10th of October, we are open to engage. And I'm being very emphatic about that. I cannot represent myself. I represent the voice of organized labor. So once that was given, that mandate was given, we are open to engage. And that is exactly what happened today.
So what kind of engagement happened today? What did the president tell you?
So essentially, government responded, or they indicated to organized labor that the demands we've made, which is one, a declaration of a state of emergency under Article 31 of the Ghana Constitution, the revocation of LI 2462, the deployment of military to the forest and then the water bodies. These are demands that were made by organized labor. Government, in response, indicated its commitment to respond to these demands. So we requested that government makes their response official. As I speak to you now, we are expecting government to write formally, responding to the demands that we have in the public domain. When we receive the response, we would call an organized labor meeting, table the response of government, and discuss it thoroughly. And once that has been discussed, we will issue our response to government. This is the position.
But it does appear that today's meeting was not a meeting for all members or all the leadership of organized labor, as we are hearing now. It appears it was just some of you that met. Is that the case?
No.
No?
No.
How do you explain how Angel Kabonu, for instance, was not in that meeting?
Angel Kabonu is a member. Well, he represents Nagrat. Nagrat is a member of Forum. Forum is a third labor center. And Forum was represented by 2 officers. So
who and who? Sir?
We have 3 labor centers in Ghana.
I agree. We've gone through that already. We know the Forum, the TUC, and the Federation of Labor. So who represented Forum, for instance, since you were there? Tell me. And then you tell me who represented TUC and who represented Federation of Labor. I know you were there. Who else was with you?
Please. Forum was represented. Federation of Labor was represented.
Bye, sir. Bye.
Please.
I'm listening, sir. Please too. Bye.
Please. the substance of this meeting, is for government to respond to the demands that organized labor has made with respect to the Galamsey menace, the illegal Galamsey issue, and how our forest reserve is being depleted and so on and so forth. We have asked government to respond to our demands. And what I'm saying on record is that government has indicated its commitment to respond to the demands. When the response is made to us officially, we will meet at Organized Labor Forum to interrogate, to dissect the content of the response from government, and they will respond accordingly.
We want to understand how you would meet government to now give you an official response again publicly before you communicate to your members. I think the steps are too many, aren't they?
No, but we made a demand, and the demand requires response from government.
So what was the conclusion of today's meeting with the president exactly? What's the way forward?
Government agreed to respond officially to the demands that we have made. In fact, government agreed that the LI 2462 was going to be revoked. Parliament, when it reconvenes, steps were going to be taken to ensure that the LI 2462, which is one of the demands, is revoked. There are other things that were said there, but we said, look, we cannot rely on verbal or viva voca confessions. We need government to officially write and then make these things official for purposes of transparency, for purposes of clarity, and for leadership of organized labor to ensure that you don't say something and then you say you haven't said it. So we require an official correspondence to that effect. And that's what I'm saying. Nothing has changed.
You mentioned LI 2462, which you say government has committed now to revoke. That's the second demand in your initial statement. The first was an immediate declaration of state of emergency. Did the president to impose a state of emergency?
So essentially, government talked about all the demands that we placed which is the condition for which the strike will be carried out by the 10th October. So we are expecting government to respond, and we are saying that he made categorical references to the demands. What I'm saying on record is that we are patiently waiting for government to officially respond. Once the response comes, we will get organized.
Yeah, I know that point, but I'm asking you specifically because you sat in the meeting. You've been categorical that on point 2, they've committed to revoke that LI. On point 1, declaration of state of emergency, did they commit to impose the state of emergency?
So that's what I'm saying. That I am unable to make categorical statement as far as that is concerned.
But you were categorical on LI 2462.
Yes.
But why can't you be categorical on point 1 in position of state of emergency?
That is why I'm saying, Evans, that government has indicated that it's going to respond officially to all the demands. My point is that why don't we wait to get the official response and then we can subject this to critical interrogation? Because whether you like it or not, this is a public document. We'll definitely get into it. So I don't know where the issue is.
Well, but members who attended, would you say you left very satisfied, knowing that what government says it would do, it would do?
Well, as to whether we are satisfied or not, I don't think that for me can be determined by what government said. What will happen is that when they write formally, responding to those demands at the Organized Labor Forum, whether those things government said are something they are ready to do, we will discuss it at the forum and will respond appropriately. So I'm not here to make emphatic statement that what they have said there is what they want to do. We need to subject it to critical interrogation and then to measure and to provide responses that for me would ensure that we achieve our original demand. So let the official correspondence come. We'll take it from there.
Okay, so finally, though, I would want to talk about the posturing of the president to all this in that particular meeting. And then also to ask whether he actually asked for more time. Did he ask that you put on hold the intended action on the 10th of October?
So, surprisingly, I was expecting the president, as usual, to speak authoritatively and make, But to be honest with you, the president actually pleaded with organized labor that strike at this time, for him, he believes, will not augur well for this country. That for us is not the issue. Our issue is that the water bodies being destroyed means a lot to all Ghanaians. So whether the strike will come on or not, it depends on the reaction and the responses of government, for which reason will determine whether we are going forward with it or not. So we are waiting to get official correspondence. This information will be public, I am very sure.
I mean, just for clarity, when you say he pleaded with you, did he plead that you call off the planned strike on the 10th, postpone it, suspend it? What was it?
Well, certainly yes, because in his opinion, the timing of the strike, but that's what I'm saying, he definitely, anybody in his position will not be comfortable with the strike action at this time. But what I'm saying is that organized labor has made the position. We stand by that position. And we've seen that government has taken steps to address the concerns we have raised in our demand. That is what I'm saying.
Mr. Kabonu, details of what happened in that meeting that you were not aware of. Hello, Mr. Kabonu. Hello, Mr. Kabonu. Hello, Angel. Okay, I may have lost him there on the line, but a bit more clarity on what happened in this particular meeting with organized labor. We know the identities of those who were in there. The presidency has assured that they will be releasing a position on this.
An official position.
Unofficial position. Angel Kabonu is on. Mr. Kabonu, yes, I was asking you, you've heard the details of what happened in this meeting you were not aware of.
Well, as my colleague is saying, that an official response will be put in writing by government in response to our demands of going on strike on the 10th will be coming. So we await that official response where organized labor will be convened to look at that official response and determine whether the official response addresses the concerns that we have raised.
Until then, is the 10th of October still on?
Until then, as far as I'm concerned, the call for strike on the 10th is still on.
We've had the president at least appeal to the members or those who attended that the timing of such an action is not good.
But the response will be concrete based on what they communicate to organized labor in writing. Yes, you can appeal that the time is not good or otherwise, but there is an issue that you have promised you are going to communicate. When that communication comes, we'll put it before organized labor and the whole nation, and we'll deliberate on it and see whether it satisfies the demands we are making. When we just say the timing is not good, what happens to the demand?
And Mr. Kumsim, very finally, you have 7 days more before the expiration of that 10th October deadline. Is the 10th October deadline still holding?
Yes, emphatic yes. So what we have done is that today, the Federation of Labour, yesterday we wrote to all the companies that the deadline that was being declared, announced by organized labor is still valid. Nothing has changed. It's not been varied. And so the decision to embark on a nationwide strike has not been altered. So you can take that from us, my brother.
Okay. So, Mr. Kumsen, just before we let you off, at least the entire country is listening. And you know what happens, some kind of interpretations that are put to such meetings when you attend. Was there any, monetary gains? Was there any exchange of gifts, or were there attempts to induce members who are participating in this meeting? Were you giving money in plain terms?
What will I accept in such forums? Please.
Sorry, you have to start all over. We didn't hear that. Start all over. I didn't hear your response. If you could start.
Not even a bottle of water would I accept. I have my integrity to protect. I represent Ghanaian workers. I have no record of taking bribes or involved in any form of money. Please.
So nothing was given.
I have given you my responses. You can verify from anyone, from anybody. I'm saying that not even a bottle of water would I accept, or any of us will accept in such meetings. If somebody took something, I'm not aware. But I'm saying that it didn't happen. Nothing of that nature. I mean, should it be that once leadership attends meetings, then there is a perception that you might have compromised? Please, we have values and standards. Come on.
Thank you so much for that clarity. That's Mr. Kumsin there, leads the Federation of Labour. And meanwhile, we've been hearing from labor expert Austin Game. He's warned the government against attempting to weaken the front of organised labour, warning that such efforts will not achieve the desired outcome.
Nothing can save the government other than taking immediate step to respond positively to labor. This divide and rule tactics is an old Russian idea. It won't work today, it won't work tomorrow.
You break that front so that there is no effective strike on the ground.
You know what will happen?
That's politically feasible.
That is suicidal for the government, I guarantee you. And that's their end. They shouldn't even go for the election. They should stop it, if that is what they want.
But if there's no massive shutdown, then we are continuing life as usual.
Let me tell you, there will be a shutdown.
Well, the National Labour Commission has been speaking. They are set to summon organised labour of its intended strike. They say 3 days after that declaration is only CLOCSAC that has deemed it fit to actually serve the NLC a notice.
When you look at the reason they have given for this fight, that is the environmental, it's one of a national issue. It is not directly linked with the welfare of their members, as unions are set up to do, to seek the welfare of their members through negotiation, arbitration, this with their employers and so on. But this one, they are fighting a national, concern, right? So properly, you can't situating it in the Labor Act is difficult, right? But then, the only reason for which Labor Commission is able to come in, right, is the declaration of the strike. Organized labor could have pressured the government or pursued their cause in other ways. You can decide to go and sleep in the street, organize series of demonstrations, picket at the Jubilee House, picket at the ministry, or picket at wherever, Minerals Commission, wherever they want to do, right? They can petition chiefs, they can call on the citizens for action and so on, right? That one, Labour Commission will not be interested. But with the declaration of the strike, that workers from on the 10th of this end, you are declaring a strike, people will not go to work and so on. That is where Labour Commission comes in.
So what have they done? Have they notified you of the strike and have not served a certain complaint? Which one do you have now?
We haven't received any formal notification of the strike from a group called Organized Labour led by TUC. But like I said, there are some unions within the Organized Labour who has written. But you see, they came together under one umbrella, that's Organized Labour. So we expected that they write to us. We received a letter from, I think, CLOCSAC some time ago, also referred, but not as Organized Labour.
So that's the Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission, Mr. Ofusua Samoa. They're speaking to my colleague, Emefa Akusia Adeti.
Well, a few of your messages on our WhatsApp console now. Sami in Kumasi says, leadership of Organized Labour has let us down. All along, some of us were hoping they were going to be very resolute to achieve their intended action, but they have failed us. Was it not the same leadership which made the loudest noises that they were not ready for any dialogue? Why the U-turn now? Well, they say that the 10th of October deadline still stands. Musa Abatwa in Asawasi says a Free Citizens Demo has shown strong commitment to pressuring the government to stop officials involved in illegal mining. Police actions, including the barricading protesters at the 37 military hospital, caused incidents that he says, despite an agreement, was a breach of their rights. Government seems more focused on silencing critics than addressing the Galamsey issue. Also tonight on that same subject, Comrade Issa says Organized Labour will not fall for the fake lamentations by the CJ and the AG. The AG is fully aware of the power of the Galamsey cases in our courts, but decided to prioritize the prosecution of Ato Forsey. And Georgia Face here with the very latest.
And we are getting ready to pray from the 11th of October. That prayer protest also being put together by the Accra Archdiocese of the Catholic Church and the Conference of Major Superiors of Religions in Ghana against illegal gold mining. George will pray. What's in business? Yes.
Well, coming up, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam announces significant savings for the economy after receiving almost 100% subscription from the Eurobond debt exchange program, and more oil marketing firms expected to increase prices at the pumps as they respond to the current developments on the international market. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, Synthesis Tanks, and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal. You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam has announced that government saved about $10 billion in debt servicing and other commitments. Now, this was after received almost 100% subscription from investors that participated in the Eurobond debt exchange program. Now, speaking at a news conference this evening, the Finance Minister noted that other sectors of the economy will benefit from this development.
The debt reduction in our stock of debt is $5 billion as a result of the 37% reduction in the nominal value of the debts. Additionally, a debt service savings of $4.3 billion during the IMF program. And this is coming also from the fact that the interest rates were negotiated down from over 8% to less than 5%. And importantly, let me also state that our deal does not have value recovery instruments. And when I talk about value recovery instruments, these are instruments that require the state to pay more in terms of interest when economic circumstances improve in the country.
Meanwhile, the Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, has revealed that government is likely to start servicing the Eurobond debt by the end of this month.
Then servicing our future debts, when we've started, the date we settle with the Eurobond debts, we will start paying, and we're settling in the next few weeks as we announced. So by the 98% we've achieved, we've all consented to the exchange, but the actual exchange will take place over the next 2 weeks. And once you exchange, it means that there is settlement, and therefore you have to start paying, servicing the debt. Although you will not service at the levels that you would have done because of the reduction in the interest rates, and also because of the reduction in the principal, you certainly will be paying less than you would have done. But with the official creditor committee, the official bilateral creditors, we said before that the servicing of the debt has been postponed until August after 2028.
The Finance Minister also announced that government is on course to reduce Ghana's debt-GDP ratio to 55% by 2028. Now, this is in line with the IMF program for the country to achieve debt sustainability. Let's still stay on this subject because economist Dr. Patrick Osumin is asking government to be measured in its expectation about the real savings on the economy following this deal reached with the Eurobond debt exchange program.
You know, this is being completed, or the amount of savings that the government says it will make is something that has been communicated already. The market would have incorporated this. But the idea that we are now going to start servicing our foreign currency debt, the external debt, I think that's where there's potential for more pressure to actually come on the city, rather than seeing that the city is expected to strengthen on the back of this. Like I said, I suspect that perhaps it has been part of the engagement. Don't forget, the IMF had been in town last week, I believe, and the discussions had been ongoing. So you get a sense that may probably have been part of it. Now, we are told that there's some subscription of about, is it 90% or so?
98%.
So we need to know whether, instead, because of this 90% subscription, whether we are going to save the initial amount that we were told that we will save. But I don't think in the short term, it sounds like it's good news for the economy. I don't think over the medium to long term, it's great news for the economy.
And that is economist Dr. Patrick Osumin. Two other stories and more oil firms are expected to increase prices of petroleum products in the coming days. Now, this was after some major players like Star Oil, Total Energies and Shell reviewed their prices at the pumps this morning. There is more in the following report.
Some of these oil marketing companies have adjusted their prices by more than 5% per litre. This they attribute to the current development on the international market that has seen price of crude oil hitting $77 from about $71 earlier this week. Industry data in Ghana had shown that prices should have gone down marginally this week. However, it looks like some of the oil marketing firms are adopting some strategies to ensure that they don't lose out looking at what is happening on the international market. The only thing that could bring some relief to consumers now is the Ghana cedi recovering strongly against the US dollar. Star Oil, which is noted for low prices, adjusted their prices this morning. A litre of petrol has gone up by 68 pesos and it's selling at 12 cedis, 99 pesos. Diesel, on the other hand, has gone up by 73 pesos and going for 13 cedis, 72 pesos. Another major player in the industry, Total Energies, is selling a litre of petrol at 13 cedis, 75 pesos, while diesel is 14 cedis, 30 pesos.
And that is a business text to report. Now, General Manager of the Venture Capital Trust Fund, Bevinsal of Riamponsa, is asking small and medium-sized enterprises to build financial trustworthiness to attract sustained financing from financial institutions to grow their enterprises. He spoke to Joy Business on the sidelines of the Ghana Digital and Innovation Week program here in Accra.
We've been in business since then, setting up venture capital funds for supporting startups and SMEs. And so that the funds are available. The challenge we've always had is with entrepreneurs accessing the funds and whether or not they are ready for venture capital investing. We've had some successes, we've had some lessons to be learned. But all in all, I think one of the key messages that was out there is that if you want to raise financing in a venture capital way or any innovative financing, the first thing is to be honest and you need to be trustworthy. You need to show to your potential investors that you are serious and you have skin in the game.
Percival Foriam Poma is the Managing Director of Venture Capital Trust Fund. On PM Express Business Edition, we'll be engaging the National Petroleum Authority as we scrutinize regulation of petroleum marketing here in the country, whether they are doing enough to protect the consumer. We'll be engaging the Director of Economic Regulations at the authority, Abbas Ibrahim Tasunti. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Ms. Bao, for latest in sports news.
Yeah, in sports, President of the Ghana Football Association, Kete Kweku, is advocating for the lifting of the ban on alcohol-producing companies sponsoring football clubs. Now, Kete Kweku, who's been speaking at the Parliament Select Committee on Sports, argued that the regulation which prohibits alcohol brands from advertising in sports is depriving Ghanaian football of crucial financial support. He emphasized that lifting the ban could provide much-needed revenue to boost the sports growth and development in the country.
There's a big space for companies who are involved in the alcoholic industry to invest in football. Typical example is Guinness Ghana. We've had numerous meetings with Guinness Ghana. FDA says no, they can't come into football. Meanwhile, the biggest football product in the world is the European Champions League, and it's been heavily consumed by the youth of our country. Heineken sponsors the Champions League. Every youth of this country is watching the European Champions League. Why are we depriving the sports sector of this possible revenue stream? The World Cup, we were all in Qatar. Budweiser was the sponsor. All the adverts were consumed by all of us here in Ghana.
That's the president of the association, Kete Kweku there. Well, Evans, coming up just from 3 minutes from now, the maybe managerial job of Eric Ten Hag might be on hand as they face Porto. A loss might
not just
signal
loss,
yeah,
a whipping.
Embarrassing.
You know,
might be the end of his time at Manchester United.
You know, and then
What
over
is
the
he still
weekend.
doing?
But he
there?
definitely needs to respond.
God.
He needs to bounce back.
No, we
and,
don't want a response. You see,
let
the
us
leadership
stay
of
away.
Old Trafford, they are so mediocre. The guy wins one game and then they keep him there.
So you want them to lose tonight?
Oh yeah, he has to lose tonight.
Okay, well, that's it.
They
for
lose
sports.
on the weekend too to us, and then we are fine. Right. That one we know he will go.
You go.
You are pained.
All right.
Yeah. But you are not just a United supporter. You should join me in asking for the guy to go.
Well, let's talk some more serious stories now. And the Ghana Health Service has ramped up its containment efforts across the country's borders following the confirmation of an Mpox case in the Bia West district of the Western North region. The patient, a 15-year-old boy, sought treatment on September 25 after experiencing fever, body pains, sore throat, and a rash on his palms and face.
Well, in a statement, the Ghana Health Service reported 230 suspected Mpox cases across 88 districts and urged the public to stay vigilant and follow safety protocols. We know that we've been getting a bit more on this from the Ghana Health Service, and it is important. So we're going to go through that for you. So you also stay vigilant. My colleague James Avaji is with me. James, what more are we learning from the Ghana Health Service?
Well, Evans, according to the Ghana Health Service, this heads of disease control at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Esiedu-Bekwe, is assuring that the service is intensifying survey and educating the public, especially those on the country's borders, on putting them on high alert and disclosing, closely monitoring all identified cases on the issue.
Okay, James, thank you very, very much.
And of course, we've been hearing from Dr. Franklin Esiedu-Bekwe on this. He's been speaking on the pulse on this matter also. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com, and you need to stay safe on this. If you notice any rash on your palm, on your face, if you have sore throat, body pains, and I think we are back to washing our hands frequently with soap and water to keep safe.
I just went to wash my hands.
I know, you
actually.
like to wash your hands
Absolutely.
already. So.
Learned from COVID.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap up. We have personality profile this evening with Lexis Bill and Larry Kwesi Jagi Esquire, CEO of Risk Management and Advisory Services Limited, our guests on personality profile with Lexis Bill. You don't want to miss it. Please do stay.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.